So it's Wednesday, the 5th of January. The train you saw was just leaving Ribblehead Station. The hill behind was a white-coated Whernside, and I'm hoping today, in this fantastic visibility, to cover Whernside and Ingleborough, finishing at Horton-in-Ribblesdale for the 4:20 train. I'm going to turn around now and you will catch a glimpse of Whernside behind. On we go. What I would call train warmth left me maybe a mile ago, and I'm getting a feel now of what sort of a day it is. The temperature is around 0, and there's quite a keen northwesterly wind that's making it feel a lot colder. I had to do a hat swap, get some at least thin gloves on. I think by the time I reach sort of 2,000 feet, it might be a shell day. So I've crossed the Settle Carlisle railway. That is on my right and goes into the Bleemore Tunnel before it heads out towards Dent and so on. You can hopefully see Ingleborough behind me, and I'm still on a pitched erosion control track looking to gain height towards Whernside. There are unsurprisingly lots of icy patches where the heavy rain of a few days ago has been cascading down the track and it's frozen hard. So I will have to concentrate on those sections, and I think higher up it might need a little bit more attention. But what a day! Woohoo! Gaining height now on the shoulder of Whernside. As expected, the conditions are a little bit cheeky in places. You might be able to see on these stone slabs here where they've been put in for erosion control because of the summer popularity of this area. The water's run down there, frozen hard, and yeah, there's no purchase at all on that surface. So I'm just kind of contouring on soft snowing grass. I should be able to get me up there soon. Again, you never get tired of these views. Hopefully around 10 minutes to the top, and by the look of things, with my prescription sunglasses, I can see there are a few people on the top. More in a while. I'm around 2,400 feet now, not far from the top. It's kind of a big whale-back summit. You can see, looking to the left, Park Fell, Simon Fell, and very soon we'll see Ingleborough. Regular watchers of the channel will remember that from a rather misty instalment on New Year's Eve. I'm having to be careful because it's still very icy here. I'm holding off using the flexible shoe plates for a little while longer, but I might need them for the descent. We'll have to have a look. time-honoured tradition, let's do a little turn. We have Great Combe, Dentdale, pointing towards the Howgills there, and if I hold it steady you can look towards the Lakeland Fells in the distance on the skyline. Magic. Continuing the spin, we're looking over towards Great Nowbury Hill. We can see a couple of viaducts on the Settle Carlisle Railway as it heads over towards Garsdale and ultimately heading to Kirkby Stephen on the Malastang. I've been waiting for a day like this. Pennygent there. So we'll go on a little bit further. Ingleborough is coming into view now nicely. You can see the big flat top. Crunch, crunch. Again, the temperature is around 0, but the wind is pegging things back. I'm hoping to stop near the trick point on the top of Whernside. I'm going to have a coffee, a bite to eat, and I'm going to try a little time-lapse sequence to see if we can capture some kind of cloud movement and changing light during my coffee stop. The wall there with a little gap, that's the summit, and there's a trick pillar just on the other side of the wall. So I've started my descent. I'm probably about a third of the way down Whernside. I'm on this particularly unpleasant set of pitched stone steps that are, erosion control yet again. Hopefully I'm out of the wind so I can stop a little bit now. If we look behind, you might pick up the Ribblehead Viaduct on this sweep, and as I swing the other way you can see Ingleborough, which will be our next port of call. The visibility is fantastic. Well, that's the off-road part of Whernside out of the way. I'm heading now, it's Tower Macadam, towards the old hill inn in Chapel Dale, and then I'll be cutting through limestone pavement en route to Ingleborough. You can see as I cross the cattle grid, the visibility continues. Oh yes, regular viewers of the channel might have spotted a different rucksack. Can I catch that with a bend in my arm? I'm using a pod black ice today. I'm going to get a better shot of it later. This is from 1995. They were fantastic rucksacks in the day, made by a Sheffield-based climber. I think he was called Pete O'Donovan. Yeah, and they had such a reputation of being functional, bomb-proof rucksacks, using good material, good stitching and so on. You could haul them over rocks, you could clip them to ropes and drag them. Fantastic things. I bought this for sort of Scottish weekends mainly, when you're carrying an ice rack, you're carrying a rope, 2 axes, crampons, plus your overnight gear. You know, your stove, your bivvy bag, a big thick sleeping bag for winter, and my normal day sack, which is a Carrymore Hot Route 45, liberated from my dad. It just wasn't big enough for all that kind of gear, so that's where this one came from. And I mean, I'm doing the same today. I've got lots of spare stuff in there, a complete change of clothes, so I can go home on the train nice and fresh. And yeah, it's good to see the black ice out and about. You can see here I'm cutting through one of the limestone pavements. Might get a better view as I turn back around, and it's quite an extensive one. When I have more time, I'll explore these things. They're like a kind of a, how would you describe it, a giant stone sponge that's above ground. All kinds of fascinating shapes. At the moment it's just leaving 20 to 2 and my train at Horton is at 20 past 4, so it's goable if I can keep ticking over. Aye, aye. Ingleborough there, of course. The route becomes, after some sections over boards and stone slabs, it kicks up quite steeply. I'll need my hands for that. And aye, aye. And I'm thinking that what I'll do, you might be able to pick out the track in black zigzagging up that steep part. At the bottom of there I'll get a hands-free arrangement for the camera, put it on a head strap and go into some kind of a time warp sequence, hopefully all the way to the top. There's an interesting cave, entrance to it at least. Braithwaite Wife Hole. I've seen potholers coming in and out of there, rather them than me. So, as you can now tell, time for the time. from the nithering winds of Ingleborough summit. That was pretty raw up there, and yeah, I'm a little bit sheltered now. On my left are the slopes of Simon Fell, and that's breaking that northwesterly wind up nicely for me. I would imagine I'll drop back into that wind in maybe a mile or so. The clock's kind of run away really. I found that Ingleborough took me maybe 10 minutes longer than I expected, because where you'd normally be striding out on stone slabs, they were coated in ice, and I was having to sort of pick my way through tussock grass and snow just to get a grip. So yeah, I lost time there. The cold started to shut me down a little at the top of the steep part, what will hopefully be on the time warp, and I was having to take an extra breather here and there. So yeah, altogether the time sort of ran away, and then coming off Ingleborough, the initial descent, which is normally nice and quick, was very tricky, because once more ice, hard frozen water. I mean, even on here where I'm able to get the camera out and do a little bit of talking, there's some tricky stuff underfoot. I'm looking, my watch says it's about 2 or 3 minutes past 3. That leaves me around an hour and a quarter to get to Horton. Normally that wouldn't be a challenge, but again, depending on where I'm going to meet underfoot, that's going to be touch and go. I might have to try and jog the lower slopes to make that train, but that's all part of the game, I suppose. What I will do if I am in something of a hurry, I'll do a turn around now. I'm heading in the direction behind Pennygent and Horton-in-Ribblesdale. Ingleborough, little Ingleborough, are behind me there. It's a wonderful golden sun. So what I'll do, I'll sign off and say from this Whernside Ingleborough 2 peaks outing, it's goodbye, see you next time.